What's up, guys? Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Brandon. I am from Minnesota, and I'm going to talk about my coming out story today. I grew up in a small town in Minnesota. I was always shy growing up. I think I struggled to fit in, and I struggled to really have a sense of self. I was super close to my cousins, and I always had this creative outlook on life, and I wanted to create stuff, whether it be videos or games. I was definitely very clinged on to my mom. I was a mama's boy for sure, and I never wanted to go to school. I never wanted to participate. When I was in 5th grade, I remember I was about to go from the small private school that I was at to a little bit bigger private school, but it was a middle school. One of the guys I was going to be in school with in this 6th grade, I saw him at church one day and I was like, he's cute. But I never really thought anything of that, because you can still find people like, well, that person's attractive, but not think any more of it. So I didn't really dwell into it, nor did I really know what that meant, because I was very sheltered as a child. I wouldn't say that's a bad thing, but it definitely made me have to grow up kind of on my own rather than with everybody else, if that makes sense. Like my own pace, because I started later in certain ways. But then I also had a better perspective on life in some ways too, so there's pros and cons. In middle school, 7th grade was very rough for me. I was very shy, I was not outgoing, I was always very nice, very kind to everyone. But there was this guy in 7th grade that would call me faggot, call me gay, repetitively. So I was starting to freak out. What if I am like, oh God, what's gonna happen? Like I had this fear, because I didn't really know what being gay was. And I was like, okay, maybe I'm starting to have feelings for guys because he's telling me that I'm gay. I had anxiety my whole life, so I was like that about everything. As I went into high school, I started getting more thoughts about guys. People were questioning my sexuality at the time because I would never talk about women. I obviously would never talk about men. I just would talk about nothing. So people obviously pick up on that, because at that age you're going through puberty and all these hormone changes, and it's something that they talk about frequently in high school, and I just wasn't doing that. When I met my best friend, she had a huge crush on me for years, and we tried dating in 11th grade, and it was very hard. I wanted so bad to make things work. I wanted to be together with her because we had such a close bond. Like our personalities were so similar, humor was similar. Like I never had this kind of connection with anyone before. I remember, I think it was in early 12th grade, we were watching A Fault in Our Stars, and that movie made me bawl my eyes out. But I realized, like when I was crying in the movie, it wasn't about the movie itself. I was laying next to Ellie, and I realized like I can't love her this way, and I want to so bad, but I can't. Like that emotional connection, the sexual connection, the physical connection I couldn't produce it. It just wasn't there. And that was super frustrating for me, but it also made me realize that, okay, I'm not straight. So a few months before prom, because we did go to prom together, we were talking about like the celebrities that we found attractive. And we did this sometimes, but like this time I was like, just kind of hint more that I was gay. Still weird to say today, I don't know why. But I was like, yeah, I really find like these guys attractive, and she didn't really get the hint, because she was like naming girls that she was like, yeah, Taylor Swift's pretty cute, blah blah blah. And I'm like, no, Ellie, I really find these guys attractive, like a lot. And I don't think she really got it, but like I told her, I'm like, I'm gay, Ellie. Like this is who I am. This is why I haven't been able to forego like a serious relationship with you, because I'm just not attracted to women. And it was very hard for her, and I don't even know if today she still understands the full concept of that, but I just couldn't do it. She was the first person I ever told, and that was something very special to me, and I didn't even believe it myself when I told her. I would say throughout the next year, I came out to a friend that I wasn't that close to, but I knew she was accepting of the LGBT community. I decided to tell her because I knew she wouldn't tell anyone. So I was like, all right, this works. So telling her and able to talk about like my feelings and stuff is kind of like, okay, this is a relief. So senior year, there was this foreign exchange student. This is never gonna end well. But he was Latino, and he was always like shadowing our Spanish class. And he would always stare at me, and it was a stare that was different, but I never really understood that until we started talking after I graduated, and he was like, I'm bisexual, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And he's like, want to hang out sometime? I'm like, all right. So we ended up going to the falls in the town I grew up in and hid behind this rock type thing, and he just kissed me. And I didn't really know how I felt. It didn't feel right. It just felt different than when I had kissed my best friend that I had dated in the past. And I ended up dating another girl who I talked about in my psycho coworker video. So that was legit. I wasn't making that up. I wasn't lying. Really, I had my first boyfriend when I was 20. He was this big muscular guy. He was super into lifting weights, and that's what really like kind of inspired me. Like, damn, I want to look like that. Like, I want to work out all the time. Like, I just like that aesthetic. We ended up breaking up after like a month. I just didn't feel like a connection, and he was out and I wasn't. And I slowly told some of my friends. I didn't tell my roommates because I felt like that would be awkward, who I was living with up at college, because that's where I met him. So I kind of ended it because I was freaking out. He was like, I want to meet your mom one day. And I'm like, oh shit, I can't do this. So skadoos. There was also other reasons, obviously. It just wasn't a right fit for me. What really progressed my coming out process is I met the only person I've ever been in love with, and I was with him for a year and 3 months on and off. It was a very toxic relationship. It was a very toxic situation, but it gave me such growth mentally and physically, and really pushed me to my limits and helped me really figure out who I am and who I want as a partner one day, or like who I want to be and who I am and what I'm okay with and what I'm not okay with. And that's something that I obviously would never change in the world, and I don't have any hate towards him. I don't regret anything. You know, everything happens for a reason, and I don't know. That's the only time I've ever given my love away like that. So it's very interesting to give that love to a person, and I'm glad to say that I did it. Part of me feels like, will I ever find love again? Like, there's always that doubt if I can get to that emotional standpoint, because now I've kind of this fear of like falling in love because I don't want to obviously get hurt again. When we broke up, I got severely depressed. I was in a very dark place. I remember crying constantly. I was not happy. I was miserable. I didn't really know if I wanted to go on, to be honest. And I realized that this was my time to come out. My ex said he had come out to his parents because he was very depressed about the situation, the breakup as well. So he suggested I do the same. But even for me now, it's very hard for me to come out to people in person. I have this irrational fear of a bad reaction, or I don't like putting people in awkward situations and just like spurring that on them. So like, give them time to process and think about it before I just go, bam, I'm gay. Like, deal with it. But I actually had my ex's best friend call my sister, and she told my sister. And then I talked to my sister for a while. She was very accepting. I think we always think that we're gonna have bad reactions with family, especially, like they're not gonna accept me, but they love you so much. They're gonna accept you for who you are, and your bond is gonna be even stronger because you're now sharing who you are with them fully, and you can fully be yourself. And I think that's something that they respect, and then you'll respect, and it's just a great feeling. So my sister ended up telling my other sister, and she told my mom and told my dad. Now, I was very, very terrified. I ended up going away for the weekend up to where I had gone to school because I live with my mom, so it's like I can't deal with this reaction right now. I don't want her asking me a bunch of questions because I'm still frazzled myself that I just did this. I never in a million years thought I would come out. I just didn't. Although it wasn't like the opportune time, and it was a little forced because my mom was wondering why I was so depressed and she was very concerned, and I just had to tell her why. We finally talked about it. My dad probably had the hardest time with it. He obviously accepted me and he accepts me, but it took him a while to accept that I will not be with this perfect woman, this perfect blonde woman, which was in his head that I would marry and have kids with. So his whole reality was in shock and he was very confused. I obviously understood where he came from. As a father, I can see why when you have your perception of where your kid's going and then it just goes 180 back, it takes a while, but obviously you love them regardless. Coming out to family is probably the best relief ever. And after that, I came out to more and more people and it was becoming easier and easier. My fear of a bad reaction was very low. I think maybe I got 2 bad reactions out of hundreds. One guy was just like, "You can't be Christian and be gay." I was just like, all right, see ya. I'm not even gonna talk about this. And then one other guy was like, being gay is a choice. It's nothing biochemical or biological. This is your choice. And I'm like, it's really not, because I don't know why anyone would choose to be something against the norm and have their lives be so much more difficult, because it is difficult. I wouldn't change it for the world. I wouldn't want to be straight at this point. I'm very happy with who I am, but why would anyone choose that difficult road if they don't have to? It's just not logical at all. You just can't have 100% good reactions, but the reactions are always better than you think you'll be, especially from family and those who love you the most. You can really find out who your true friends are and the people who really care about you. And you're going to realize that it's not as big of a deal as you thought. You're still the same person. You just like the same sex. It is what it is. It's just a small fraction of your life. I don't think it needs to be who you are. I am gay. This is all I am. It's just a small fraction of everything you are. And everything you are is still the same. It's just being honest with this section of yourself. So when I accepted that myself, my confidence went up. I was a lot happier. My stress went down. I just felt like I didn't have to hide anymore. I feel like I've grasped more maturity and understanding every day. And it's definitely a process, within yourself mostly. Just accepting the differences and the lifestyle and how you go along each day. I definitely have some stuff to work on still, but I'm very happy to come out. And obviously it's June right now, so it's this is a perfect time to post this video. I actually had done this video back in January, but I didn't seem confident. I didn't feel confident at the time, and I don't think I was in a good place to really tell my story the way I wanted to. So I think I explained it as best as I could right now. There's some people watching this video that probably don't know I'm gay. I don't openly just say, hey, I'm Brandon, I'm gay. Unless you ask, obviously I'll tell you. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate everything. It's been nice sharing my story, and I inspire anyone else to share their stories as well, because being open and honest with who you are makes more people realize you're not alone and you have other support. And just be you. It's 2019, just do it. There's no negatives to being yourself. Just be authentic and live your best life. Life's too short to hold yourself back, so don't be afraid. I would recommend coming out to a few people at a time rather than going bam. I made a Facebook post and that was a little intense for me, but just work your way there. Take it at your own pace. You don't have to feel like you need to come out today or tell everyone. Just work on it. Constantly work on it, because it's so good for your mental health when you finally do achieve that. But I understand that some people can't for certain reasons, whether religion, yada yada, but just be authentic with who you are and accept it within yourself. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next week. This confidence I never knew I had came out, and I started working out. I started doing things that were benefiting me in the long run and just living a better life, being more positive, and I just feel like coming out changed everything for me, and I would never take that back.